Of Don John's Addiction, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right, we'll get right into it. Do we have any questions from the audience? Right up front here. Yeah.
What were some of the challenges you faced as both acting as both director and actor?
She asked about the challenges between being both actor and director at the same time. You know, it's very normal for an actor to get sort of freaked out by the sight of their face and the sound of their own voice. And I remember feeling that way in the past, but I think it really comes down to practice. I've made a ton of little short films and videos with myself, just shooting things and cutting them together, and you know, working with friends and working with people on the internet, and it's just something I like to do. And over time, I think I got used to seeing my own face and hearing my own voice. So by the time I did this, I felt like I could look at it critically and be productive.
Yes, right here.
I just wanted to know, how long have you been working on the story? And it's not like you're busy or anything, so how did you write? Like, what was your habit as far as writing, and how did you kind of explain that?
Yeah, he asked about kind of the writing process and how long it took and stuff. And I mean, I had the first seeds of the idea of kind of trying to compare porn and Hollywood romance movies years and years ago. And was sort of trying to figure it out for a long time, and would come up with little ideas. Oh, what's up, Kier? How you doing, man? Sorry. Anyone on hit record? Hey yo. All right, nice. Well, he is too, and he's right. Sorry. You just distracted me. I had that idea for years, and you know, would come up with little ideas of, well, I could do it really in a really realistic way. Like, yeah, but I don't know about that, and I could do it this way, I could do it that way. Well, that's maybe a little too experimental. I want lots and lots of people to see and understand this. And it was actually while I was in Vancouver, shooting 50-50 with Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, stoned every night, that I came up with the idea to do it as a comedy. Like this, and that's when I sort of landed on this version of a Don Juan character, this machismo guy with the gym body and all that, and I thought that would be hilarious for me to play that part. And once I had that idea, I started, you know, making more solid notes and an outline, and did that for about a half a year, and then started writing it as a screenplay, and that took about a year before I had a first draft. And then it was about another year until we started shooting.
What steps do you take in order to get into character?
Well, wait, why is that funny? I don't know. I mean, it's really different for every character. She asked, what steps do you take to get into character? This character, you know, I'd spent so much time thinking about him and writing the script that by spending that much time with it is really, really helpful. I mean, way more time than any other part I've ever played. And so by the time it came time to shoot, there wasn't really any exercise I had to do. You know, it was just like, you put the gel in the hair, and you know, you put on these ridiculous clothes, and you look in the mirror, and it's, you know, I'm that guy now. But you know, other characters are different.
In the back there. Yes.
So why did you want to tell this story specifically, and why did you choose this one for your directorial debut?
Yeah, that's a good question. He asked, why did you want to tell this story specifically? Really, I wanted to tell a story about love, and in my observations, what I've seen, it seems like what's always getting in the way of love is how people objectify each other. That rather than relating to each other in a sort of a present moment as unique individuals, we are always kind of comparing each other to this checklist of expectations that we've learned from various places. We learn these expectations from our friends, from our family, upbringing, from our church, or from the media, which particularly fascinates me because, I've loved movies and I've worked in movies all my life, and so I was really interested in telling a story about how media would kind of get in the way of love in that way. And so I thought a relationship between a guy who watches too much porn and a girl who watches too many romantic Hollywood movies would be really funny. And that was the beginnings of it.
Yes, right here, second row.
So, Julianne Moore and Scarlett Johansson were both perfect for their respective roles. Perfect. Were they your first, you know what I mean? Was that who you thought would fill the role as you were writing the script?
Yeah, when I was writing, she asked about Scarlett and Julie, and if I was thinking of them while I was writing. And from the very beginning of the Barbara Sugarman character, I always pictured Scarlett. No one else. Julie was more of a discovery, but you know, I didn't have a particular actress in mind. But when we started talking about, well, who would you want to do it? If you could pick anybody, who would you want to do it? And I was like, well, if I could pick anybody, probably Julianne Moore, but like, who else could we get? And I was, you know, then she read it and liked it, and I was, you know, just delighted and very, very grateful. I think she's one of, you know, I think she's a national treasure. I think she's one of the greatest actresses alive, and I'm very, very happy. And I also think, though, that I'm so happy to see Scarlett flexing her skills in this movie, because she's really playing somebody very different than who she normally plays. I think she's hilarious and really heartfelt, and I think she gives such a great performance in this movie, and I'm really, yeah, really, really pleased with that too.
Right here in the front.
Malibu SS or Chevelle?
Oh, he's asking a car question. I don't know shit about cars. That was a Chevelle, I know that, but that's about all I know.
Other side, front row.
What can you tell me about? I noticed that you worked with Panavision cameras. What can you tell me about which cameras you used and how it was working with them?
I wanted to use a Panavision 35mm camera like the ones that I grew up with, and they're only, you know, there's not that much film being shot anymore. And luckily, you know, the last 4 movies I did were shot on film, but it's becoming more and more of a rarity. It was to the point where I would have meetings with cinematographers, and they'd say, "What do you want to shoot on?" And I'd say 35mm film, and they'd all like, "What, really?" But in fact, you know, I think it actually cost us less in the long run to shoot on 35mm film than it would have were we, say, shooting on the Alexa or something. I love the way it looks. You know, digital's come a long way, and I've seen some beautiful movies, especially recently, that were shot digitally. But gotta say, I do love the celluloid.
Nice.
Right here in the back. No, yeah, you.
I just want to know why you picked New Jersey as
Yes.
That's a good question. She asked why New Jersey. Well, I wanted, you know, I knew I didn't want the story to be a work of realism. I wanted it to be something more kind of archetypal. And when I was thinking of who's today's archetypal Don Juan character, that was the first thing that came to mind, was that fucking guy, you know? And I just thought it was really funny. And then, you know, went from there. I mean, and it is certainly a New Jersey thing, but I gotta say, I think this archetype is just American. I think it's as American as the cowboy. You know, it's been a part of our culture from, you know, people keep talking about their Jersey Shore to me, and I've only ever seen 1 episode of that, and I could hardly get through it, to be perfectly frank. But, you know, let's talk about Rocky, let's talk about Saturday Night Fever, let's talk about, even go back to, you know, the old film noir movies, The Tough Guy, you know? And that's to me what this is. You have to pick some particular place. In fact, you know what's interesting? It's funny you bring this up, because my original script, I didn't name New Jersey. You never knew if he was in New Jersey or Long Island or Philadelphia, or he could be, I didn't really want to specify. And in our feedback screenings, people would consistently ask, where is it? Where are they? It was distracting to me. I wanted to know where they were. And I would always answer, it doesn't matter where they are. And the people would say, well, I don't know, I kept wondering where they were. And that's not really where I wanted people's mind to go. So, you know, we actually added, there's a license plate shot where it says New Jersey. And that was a shot a little bit later, because I was like, okay, fine, if it's distracting people, let's just say New Jersey.
And we have time for one more question. Yes, sir, right here.
a comment. You go back further than Jersey. You go back to Jimmy Cagney.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much.
One more question. Right here. Yes, yeah.
We saw him going to church, we saw his whole routine. Why did we never see him at work?
Yeah, good question. Well, at the beginning he says there's really only a few things that matter to me in life. And I don't think his job matters to him at all. And the only places you ever see him are the things that matter to him. And I think that his job is just something that he does. You do see him briefly pouring a drink for a girl at the very beginning of the movie. But I just didn't think it was important to see his job because it wasn't important to him.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And if we can please remain seated as we exit the theater. Thank you.
Probably no